Hello everyone, welcome to my channel, or welcome back to my channel. I explained in my previous video that I wanted to do a video for you guys explaining the reasons as to why I've been absent on YouTube. And if you haven't already guessed by the title, me and my two children were homeless. It's still a pretty raw subject. I mean, I know we're in a very better place now, however, I think it was very traumatic for me at that time and my two children. So it's still pretty raw, but I do want to talk about it because it might even give a lot of people hope who are homeless with their children or becoming homeless or something like that. So I'm going to go back to when this all kind of started. It was in July 2017. We'd been in our property since January 2016, so it was before Holly was born in April. I've obviously been there a really long time. I'm really happy. I loved my home so much. It was just like the perfect location. Alfie's school was literally up the road. My work was around the corner. So it was like ideal house to have. Gorgeous 3-bedroom home. But we were private renting. So with private renting, it kind of comes, it's not as, how do I explain this? It's not as stable as a mortgage would be or a housing association home. Obviously everything comes with, you know, as long as you pay your rent on time and you keep well with bills and things like that. But obviously landlords can do what they like. It is their home. They can sell the property if they want to. They can kick you out and have someone else in. So yeah, that was always kind of in the back of my mind. I wasn't really sure what was going to happen. I don't want to go into too much detail as to what actually happened. But all I can tell you is obviously the private renting is not as reliable as some other things are. Come to like July 2017, we had I can't remember what it's called now. I think it's a Section 21 come from our landlord. This was basically informing us that we were being evicted and that we had like a court date and things like that. I kind of suffered with depression. I've kind of suffered with depression ever since I had Alfie, which was like 10 years ago nearly. So I've always been very susceptible to things. I've always been quite sensitive, and if anything happens, I'm like, oh my god, the world is coming down on me, and that's just how I am as a person. From then on, my mental health just deteriorated. I wasn't getting any better, and obviously the letters kept coming, and then we had the bangs on the doors, and it was just a very scary situation. I was told that I had a few options. I actually went to Shelter. You've probably heard of Shelter actually. They're a charity in England. I'm sorry, my kids are giving me like the worst cold and cough ever. They are a homeless charity in the UK, and they help people like with information on what to do and what options they have. So I went straight to them and to my local council, which didn't really do much. They didn't really care, to be honest. So I went to Shelter, and they said, look, your options are this. We can't help your partner because he is a man, and that's just how it goes in these sort of systems and these things. But we are willing to help you and your two children. You can either stay in the property when the bailiffs arrive on the eviction day and take the letter to the council, and you'll be put in like a homeless shelter, or you can move away. That was literally my two options. I had no other options. I mean, I think I was told at one point that social care would have to get involved because my children were, I was apparently putting my children at risk because of homelessness, even though it was not my fault at all. So that was really hard. Well, yeah, so I was told to just wait it out. Wait for the letters to come. Don't speak to my landlord. Don't speak to anyone who knocks on the door. You literally have to wait and wait and wait and wait until that final day when you get a letter through saying that the bailiffs are going to arrive on this date and this time. During this time I went to the doctors, I was put on medication, I slept a lot, my house was an absolute tip because I couldn't do anything. It was just a really, really bad time. Right, I'm back. Sorry, it's still really raw, so I just like, sometimes I talk about it, I'm like, oh my god. It doesn't really affect me day-to-day life. I think it's just when I talk about it and I go into detail about what happened. Anyway, so I seriously need to take a Strepsil. So yeah, in that time, obviously I was very anxious. I never ever opened the door. I never answered any phone calls. I was scared, and I wasn't even scared, I was terrified. I was terrified of what the future would hold for me and my kids. I was terrified that they were going to get taken away from me. I was terrified of our entire future. I I didn't really know what to do. It was only like a couple of weeks before we were actually evicted by the bailiffs that I knew what I was going to do and what my plan was. And my plan was to move to Oxford to live with my dad. I was born in Oxford. I lived in Oxford till I was about 10, and then I moved to Bournemouth, and I decided to move back, which is where I am now. I lived with my dad for 6 months, and obviously moving into your parents' house who haven't lived with young children for such a long time, it is really hard, and it was very stressful. So sorry, I just burped then. Eventually that didn't work out, so we were kind of homeless again. But luckily I had my lovely grandparents up the road, so I went to go live with them for a bit. And whilst we were there, my granddad turned 80 years old. So you can imagine like the strain and the stress of having children running about your house. And although I was so thankful for not only my dad, my granddad, my brother, all for their help, I couldn't help but feel like an absolute burden. Sorry, let me just quickly rewind because I've kind of missed the whole thing. So I signed on to the council list, the council register with Oxfordshire, and there was a lot of, it's really strange, like I had to give them a lot of evidence. I never knew it would be as hard as it was. A lot of people assume that, like, you know, refugees come to this country and they're just given a house, and it just doesn't work like that. I thought it would be much quicker than it was. I assumed it would be literally like 2 months maximum. I mean, I was a mum, homeless with 2 children. And although homeless, you know, to a lot of people is you sleeping in a sleeping bag on the street, but according to society and the council, I was a homeless mum. I didn't have a home of my own. I was basically living and sleeping in my dad's living room with my 2 children on a blow-up bed for 6 months. So, you know, and apparently that was okay because a living room is a bedroom if you make it one. I was obviously given a bidding number. I bidded for a lot of properties. Some of them didn't always work out. I think I got offered one that was so expensive, I don't know how on earth they offered it me. Like, there's no way I would have been able to afford that on my own as a single parent. And then I got offered another property. I think I turned it down because at first I was like, oh no, I really want a house. I don't really want to go in a flat. Like, I've got 2 children. Imagine the noise they're going to create from if I was up on a first floor, on the ground floor, you know? So I wasn't really, I don't know, I guess I was desperate, but I knew when I got off this property it would be my home for life. So I wanted to make sure it was ideal for me and my family. So we were homeless from November. We got offered a property in May, around May, or like the middle of May. That was when I was living with my grandparents. So we lived with my grandparents for a while, and then we went to go live with my brother. So you can imagine my children, they'd been literally everywhere. They'd been dragged everywhere. They wasn't sleeping. I mean, even now they still sleep in my bed because I can't get them into a routine because they're so anxious, I guess. I think they picked up on my anxiety of everything that's going on, and they now sleep with me. So we got offered a property in May of this year. We didn't actually move into the property until the 27th of July. So if anyone says to you like, oh, mums are only in it to get the houses, oh yeah, because I'd have really dragged me and my kids through 8 months of just absolute hell to get a house that I had to leave. I had to move my son's school. I had to leave my job that I really liked. I had to leave everything behind that I'd known for so many years. And yeah, I feel like I've really like done this really quickly. But yeah, so that's our homeless story. Obviously still very raw to talk about, and I think mainly it was just I want to help other people, and I want to make sure that maybe a mum going through the same situation, that there is light at the end of the tunnel and that you're not alone, and there's so much help out there. You know, if you want to give me a message, you can more than certainly give me a message. You can don't hesitate to message me, and I'm willing to message back and have a chat and just make you feel better. But yeah, so basically where we are now is a lovely 2-bedroom house, which, you know, I really wanted a house. When we first moved in, it was just an absolute mess. They'd kind of patch painted all the walls. It was just disgusting is the word I'd probably use for it. The previous tenants didn't really treat it very nicely. So, I mean, I hate even going back and thinking the state of this house. I mean, it's absolutely gorgeous now because I've made it nice. But yeah, it was horrible. We had to sand down all the skirting boards, all the doors, undercoat them, gloss them. I had to paint. I haven't even got round to painting my bedroom, the kitchen and the bathroom yet, or the landing. I haven't even got round to painting it yet. But there's still quite a lot to do, but we're really happy now. I do still sometimes get anxious about having a home, and I think it's easier because I'm closer to family, so I don't feel alone. But I do still find myself getting very anxious about, like, oh my god, I need to pay my rent. Oh my god, what if they, you know, what if they just want to kick me out? But it just doesn't work like that. As long as my rent's paid, my council tax is paid, all my bills are paid, and I'm pretty happy. You know, Alfie loves his school. Holly's really settled in at nursery. She loves nursery so much. I think she's been going since she was about 1.5, because I had to go back to work pretty soon when I moved here, just for the money side of things. I really like my job. I'm in a really lovely stable job with a great team, and yeah, we're really happy now. But like I said, also I'm still struggling with the routine. I mean, even this, you know, we're a few months on now. Where far we go? July, August, September. Yeah, so nearly 3 months we've been here, about 2.5 months, and I still haven't been able to crack a routine with these two. So if you have any tips, please leave them down below, because I need them. I still haven't got around to getting them into a routine. I think it's just the trauma of everything that happened has caused them to be very, very attached to me. And that's fine. You know, I'm fine with them being attached to me. I love them so much, and I secretly quite like sharing a bed with them, even though I know it's probably not for the best, but I like the company. So that's something that I'm struggling with as well. It's just the routine. And I think as well for my son Alfie, because he's much older, he's 8 years old, so he knew everything that was going on. He knew what he was leaving behind. He was very upset, very traumatized, heartbroken that he had to leave all his friends, and it was heartbreaking for me to watch, because I never ever wanted that for him. But you know, where we are living now, he's got so many friends. I mean, not just at the school that he goes to, in our area, he's able to play. It's a really lovely village that we live in, so he's able to play with all his friends. I have absolutely amazing neighbours who I love with all my heart. They do so much for me and the children, and I just couldn't thank them enough. But yeah, so really happy now, and that was our story. I feel like I really rambled that and got that out so quickly. But I think it's because I thought it was going to be such a long story, because I think it had been going on for such a long time. But yeah, so I feel really hot now. I don't know what it is, I need to open a window. Thank you so much for watching this video if you have got this far. I really do appreciate the support. If you do like these sort of videos, please subscribe to my channel and give it a thumbs up as well if you did enjoy it. I want to do more videos about this subject, perhaps about the process of bidding on council houses, you know, perhaps how children kind of get through it as well. But yeah, I'm now going to have my coffee. I'm going to enjoy the peace while Holly's having a nap, and I'll see you guys on Wednesday. Bye.